Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel for another interesting tutorial. So here is a request from a subscriber and I just did justice to it. Stay with me, let's cut this cone dress from the cutting table to the sewing machine. If you've been finding this kind of dress difficult, especially attaching the cone to the dress, I got you this time. Just watch through to the end to see how I attach the cones. The easiest method to attach it, even if you are a beginner, you will grab the idea from there. So we made this for a 3-year-old child and look at how beautiful it is. And as always, we'll have a neatly finished clothes. Both the inside and outside are neatly finished. Look at how neat the inside is. The zip is attached perfectly and the sleeve is the only place I am going to search. So I'll be using cotton lining and a scuba material. My cotton lining was just half yard of it. Scuba material was 1.5 yard. Then these scraps of scuba that I'll be using to attach the make the flowers. So let's go into the cotton. First, you want to fold your scuba fabric the right way. This scuba fabric stretches both way, but there's the part that does not stretch as the other. This is the one that stretches more. The part that is a bit stiff is going to accommodate our vertical measurement, that is from the shoulder to the full length. You would want to do it this way to avoid zip bulge, so that your zip will not be wavy. You fold with the part that doesn't stretch as much to accommodate your vertical measurement. I had already cut out the one I'll be using, so let's go into this. Here I have my material folded into 4 in such a way that it will accommodate quarter of my chest measurement plus about 2 inches extra. My front is actually bigger with 1 inch for my zipper allowance. As you can see, the zipper is attached to the front part of the dress. So I'll just pin this up, making sure that my front part is under and my back part is the one at the top. And I will mark my starting line. This is my starting line. The one at the top is the back part. I will take half of my shoulder measurement, which is 4.5 inches, plus 0.5 inches that I will be using to join my sleeve. And my neck width is 2 inches, both for the front and the back. And my neck depth for the back is just 1 inch. I will be having a different neck depth for the front, which is 2.5 inches. I will mark it and connect the lines. So I'll come down by half an inch at the shoulder area for my shoulder slope. And from there, I will take my chest line, that is half of my armhole, 4.5. I'll connect it into a straight line to form my chest line. So whatever I have on my shoulder, I will input it on that chest line and I will connect the armhole depth. So I'll get the midpoint and go deeper by 0.5 inch for the front. But since I'm marking on the back part, I will leave it like that. When I trim off, when I remove the back, I would trim it off. So on my chest line, I will input quarter of my chest circumference, 22 inches divided by 4 is 5.5 plus my 1 inch seaming allowance. My full length is 24 inches. And on my full length, I will add 1 inch to the measurement I have on my chest just to get the flare effect. You can add 1 inch or 1.5 inches to the down part. Just a little flare effect is what we want, because those cones will be attaching will give us a really full flare effect. And I will take my French curve to connect my armhole curve. And on the shoulder part, I would add my half an inch for my shoulder joining. And this pattern is ready. I'll cut through the back lines first, then I'll remove my back and trim off my front neckline and my front armhole. So when I'm done cutting, I will unpin and mark that half midpoint of the armhole depth on the front part, and my neckline I'll connect it to the neck width. Then I'll trim the armhole and the neck depth of the front off. So next is to notch my zipper allowance at the front part, and I'll slit that line open. So the front will be two pieces, so that I will have my front part into two. The next thing is to get from my shoulder to my hip line. You can use your upper hip or your lower hip. I'm using my lower hip. It should not get to the nail. It should not as well start from the waistline. From my shoulder to my hip line is 15 inches. So I'll just mark it across. If I cross check from the hem, I'll be having 9 inches. So I will take it from the hem just to get a straight line. And I will transfer the marks, the line to the one under, and I will open it up. When I open it up, I'll go ahead and join the line. I'll connect the two lines. So this is the back piece. The back piece is not open up, and I'm marking on the wrong side of the fabric. I'll get the midpoint of this line, and whatever it is, I will mark it at this place and at the hem line. So from this line now, we'll now be taking our measurement. The width of the measurement we are taking, that is the width where the cone will be sitting, depends on how full and the amount of fabric you have for it. So I'm marking 1.5 inches. You can as well mark 1 inch or 1.25 inches. So it should not be below 1 inch, and it should not be more than 1.5 inches. So the lesser number you mark, the more number of cones that you'll be attaching into it. So I'll just connect the lines to the bottom width. After doing that, I'll go and open it up. I'll just open the lines up. There I have 9 lines. If I had used 1.25, I'll be having about 11 lines. So 9 lines for the front and for the back as well. And for the front, I did not open up to my zipper allowance. I'll be trimming off that zipper allowance to fix a cone there after attaching my zipper. So we'll go to the machine and I'll show you what to do. The next step is to take my the length of what you just open up. I have 9 inches there. I'll be adding 1 inch to mine, making it 10 inches. So the 1 inch is just for allowance, for you to be on a safer side. So the first method I'm going to show you, I'll get my paper and fold it into two, and I'll just take that length that I just marked. I'll be taking 10 inches, 9 inches plus 1 inch allowance. And from there, I can take the width of my cone, 4 inches or 5 inches. I just took 4 inches there. But if 4 inches is too small for you, go ahead and take 5 inches. What I ended up using on my fabric was 5 inches. So this is the first method. Just fold your paper into two and mark the lines that we just marked now, and connect and cut it out. For the second one, I'll be folding into a triangular manner. This is angle 90. So we'll be cutting it out in a circular form. I'll just fold the paper into two, and the 10 inches that I'm still working with, I'll just take it all across the paper, just the way we'll cut our circle, and I'll cut the line. As you can see, this one is wider than the previous one. You can as well use any of them. If this is too big for you, just open it up and use one of them. So you can see the difference in the hemline. It doesn't really matter because we'll be trimming off after sewing, after attaching to the dress. So you can use any of them and trim off later after sewing. I'll use this and cut on my material. The number of lines I have on this, that is what I will use to cut it out. And for my lining, I just traced out a line in here. Here I have half lining. Initially I traced out 2 inches below the armhole, but after making the dress I decided to use full lining that stopped at where my zip stopped. So you can as well do this just to turn the neckline. So for the roses that will be attaching to this dress, I use scraps of scuba fabric. This is a sign for you not to throw away your scuba fabric when it's remaining. You might need it for one design or the other. So I just folded my material into two, and I got this tape, this sellotape. The bigger one was 2 inches, the smaller one 1.5 inches. So just get different sizes of any circular object you have. It mustn't be this particular one I'm using. I'll just trace it out on the fabric. I folded into two just to give me a lot of numbers while after cutting. So I'll just pin it down so that it doesn't separate, and I'll cut it out and trim it to that round shape that I just traced out. So this is what you would do to all the colors you'll be using. Just mix of colors so that you just have pops of colors and it's more beautiful that way. So when I'm done, I'll just separate the needles from the fabric, and I will knot my thread. I have needle and thread here. I've threaded my needle. I will knot it, and I'll pick each one. Look at the way I'm doing it. I'll just pinch it at the bottom and pass my needle through it. I'll pinch it and pass my needle through it. It is not a difficult thing to do. So this is how I'll continue doing to the whole of the roses that I'll be using. As you can see, I've done a lot of them, and each one is five circles per rose, both for the bigger size and for the smaller size. So when you get to 5, you can as well do more than 5, but I just wanted to stop at 5. So when you get to 5, you just tack it very well, secure your knot so that it doesn't loosen up, and your rose is ready. So go ahead and place this on a bigger one. This is a smaller one. Just find another color and place it on it. Then you tack the two of them together. Just mix up the colors. It's beautiful that way instead of having one color. You can as well tack 5 different colors of roses instead of one color. You can just tack 5 different colors if you want. Just mix up things. It will come out fine. So this is how I'll continue doing to the whole of them, and after that it will be ready to be attached to the dress I'm working. Now we are on our machine. I'll show you how to fix the cone. The first step is to locate the back part. I've located that on my fabric and on my cone on the main dress, and I'll get a pin. So when I get a pin, I will mark ½ inch from the pointy end that is on my right side. I'm marking this ½ inch on my right side from the triangular part. Then I will open up that strip and I will stretch it a bit and place on that point I just marked. Just stretch it a bit to give way. Then you pin it horizontally. I'm pinning horizontally, not vertically. Pinning this way will allow you to stretch that place out. As you can see, if I pin vertically, it will just stay at a point. Then from there, I will just make sure the strip is on top of the cone. The cone must be under. All those strips that you cut out should be on the one on top of the cone so that you pin on the strip. So I'll just pin through to the down part, making sure I'm aligning it. Then getting to the down part, you see that the cone is longer than the strip. Is fine. You can as well trim it. But if it is the strip that is shorter than the cone, that's where the problem is. And that was the reason we added that 1 inch to our measurement, to be on a safer side. So I'll flip to the other side, making sure as well that the strip is on top of the cone, and I'll pin through to the end. It will still not be the same at the down part. That is not a problem. So the trick is just to open up that place that we stopped our opening. Look at this place. Just open it up. Make sure it's flat. Like this, your machine foot can climb it. So when you open it up, you pin it horizontally, and from there I will stitch with ½ inch. ½ inch all the way. Then when I'm getting to that place that we are going to, the place that will pin at the middle part, I will just reduce my stitch to about ½ inch. So we'll be coming from there to the place that we just stretched out and pin. And when I get there, I'll place my machine foot on it. I just zoomed it in so that you understand what I'm saying. When you get there, just make sure nothing is under. That place is flattened out. Raise your machine foot, then you flatten it out and you climb it. I am not taking away that pin until I have climbed it and I've passed that end. Then I will now continue sewing with ½ inch. Then to this down part, I will continue with my ½ inch to the end. At that point, you don't need to sew with half an inch because it is not possible. So look at how neat what we have. And as you can see, we just picked small part of the strip here at the back. It was not up to half an inch, it wasn't even up to quarter inch, it was about 1/8 of an inch. So I'll fix the second one so that you understand what I'm saying. The second one, like I said, get the middle point, half inch from the triangular point. Stretch out your strip, pin in a horizontal way. This way it has flattened out that end. You can climb it with your machine foot. Look at how it's looking already from the outside. Then I'll pin it downwards till I get to the end, and I'll turn to the other side as well and pin, making sure that your strip is on top of the cone. Then we will sew from the beginning half an inch. When you are getting closer to that place, reduce your stitch to about quarter inch. Then when I get to that point that we are going to, that point that I marked my pencil, I'll place my needle on it, then raise my machine foot. At a point itself, you don't even need to be raising your machine foot. If you master it, you don't necessarily need to raise your machine foot. Then I'll just sew through to the other end. So for the second one, this is what we'll have for the second one. And from the front, this is what we'll have. At some point, you might find these little squeezes at the top. It is very okay. You can just stretch it out from the back and it will last. So I'll just fix the third one for the sake of this tutorial so that there will be no issue that you'll be having while you're fixing yours. Get the midpoint about half an inch from the pointy end, stretch it out and pin all the way to the end. Then you turn to the other side as well and pin. So this part is really fast forwarded, but I believe you can see what I'm doing. Half an inch from the down part. When you are getting there, reduce your stitch to about quarter inch so that you'll be able to climb that point. Then when you get there, you don't remove your pin until you've passed the point, so that it will not shift. If you remove your pin before getting there, it will shift. But once you pass there, you can remove your pin. See how neat the third one came out as well. So this is how I would do to all of them, to the whole of them. I've done for the back and one side of the front, and this is how beautiful it came out for the back as well. So this is for the front. If I open up, you see I'm left with half an inch because my markings was 1.5 inches, and for the down part you can see that I have excess. I'll trim it off. So if you want my marking not to be as big as this half inch that is remaining, please use 1 inch. Then you sew with quarter inch on both sides. You still be left with half inch rather. So for the front, I'll place the two of them together. For the front, I want to close my zip. I'll pin it up so that I don't want to sew and loosen if I didn't get it right. This is a scuba fabric, and once you sew and loosen, your needle line will be showing. So I've pinned it up, and from that 9 inches mark that I just got all my lines from, I'll go up by 1.5 inches. I want to fix a cone at this zipper end. I don't want to leave it. So when I go up by 1.5 inches, I will stitch it from that 9 inches upwards 1.5 inches. I'll stitch it, top stitch it very well. So below it, I'll be trimming it off. I don't need the zipper allowance at the down part. So I just want to hold it down so that I can trim it off without getting into any allowance. You don't necessarily need to do this. It's not, just pin it down. In fact, I wanted to pin it down earlier, but I don't know what happened. I just decided to sew on it. So from that point, I will trim off that 1 inch downwards. I will trim it off and I'll fix my cone at this open end. So at the upper part, I'll fix my zip. From here, at that point I'm holding, you can just slant it in a triangular manner. I'm opening the stitches I just made, the one that I said I don't know why I even made it. So from that end, I'm restitching it so that it will be secured. And you can just slant it to be in a triangular shape. So this is the opening we'll now be fixing our final cone, so that we'll have 9 at the front and 9 at the back as well. So just like we've been doing, we'll get the midpoints half inch down from the pointy edge and match that middle point to it, and you pin at both sides. So at this point, you can just slash about half an inch away from there, so that that place will not be dragging the pointy end. This is the middle part where we stitched. So I'll just go ahead and stitch it now. And this is what we'll have for our final cone. You see how beautiful it came out as well. And I can now fix my zipper at that upper end. So the kind of, please do not use an invisible zipper for this. It will budge, it will be wavy. Just get a heavy duty zipper. Any zipper that is a heavy duty zipper, just get it, so that you will not end up having a wavy effect on the front. So half inch down from that, I'll be using to join the neckline, the lining and this scuba fabric. I'll come down by half inch, making sure that my zipper, the iron stuff that is at the zipper tip is half inch down. Then I'll pin on this side and take to the other side as well and pin. After pinning, I will sew on it. Please pin so that you will not loosen up. This is a scuba fabric. Sewing and loosening it will create holes on it. So you don't want to make mistake, especially because this is the front part. I'll just change to my zipper foot. This will be easier for me. And I'll sew on that end. And I'll turn to the other part and I'll sew as well. So when I finish sewing, I'll just cut off that excess that is at the down part, and I'll cover it with my lining. It will not be showing. I finished sewing it and I joined my shoulder as well. I just placed the two shoulders to join it, both the lining and the fabric. And I'll cut off this excess that is at the tip. See how neat my zipper is already. So I'll just use my lining to turn my neckline. This part is really fast forwarded because this video is already lengthy. I don't want it to be more than this. So I believe you can see what I'm doing. We are just turning the neckline, just the normal way we turn our neckline with lining. And I'll back stitch when I get to the end. So I'll still top stitch towards the lining so that it will relax. This is a heavy material. The scuba is heavy material, so it needs top stitching. You can notch before top stitching to get a very perfect relaxation as well. I'll start top stitching 2 inches away from the tip. That is, I will not top stitch on the zipper end, and 1 inch away from the zipper area. So the same thing is what I will do when I get to this end. I did not top stitch all the way to the zipper so that I can flip it and turn my zip neatly. So I just joined right side to of this lining, right side to right side for the front part, and I will close with 1.5 inches that I closed my main material with, just to fix my zipper. So I will close it like this so that this end will cover the down part of my zipper. And if I open up, this is how it will look. And I'll flip the zip, the lining on top of the zip. I'll flip it like this and I'll sew. At this point, I'm not seeing my stitches at the down, so I'll just feel the teeth of the zip and I'll sew through to the end. Make sure you are using your fingers to feel the teeth of the zip so that you don't sew on it. So on the other side as well, I can see at this point, I can see this side, and I will sew as well the lining and the scuba fabric, and I'll top stitch when I get to the end. And this way, if I flip it over like this, look at how the inside is neatly finished. The zipper area is neatly finished for the two sides. When I zip up, this is how the inside looks already. And I will just flip it back to notch this end so that that top part will not be bulky. This material is heavy, so that it will not be bulky. I'll do the same thing to the second part, and I'll take to my board to iron. So I've ironed on it, and I'll close the sides lining to lining. I'll close with 1 inch seam allowance. My scuba to my scuba, I will close with 1 inch as well. So the only opening we'll be having is at the armhole, and we'll be fixing our sleeve to it. So I'll not be showing this part because I will already have a lengthy video. Now I have closed the side 1 inch, 1 inch on both sides, on all the sides, and now our inside is now neatly finished. We can now bring it out from the good side. So this is what the inside looks like as well. As you can see, you can iron at this point, and I'll be fixing my sleeve. I have the last video I posted before this one, I have a well detailed tutorial on how to cut out your sleeve. I'll be adding the link of that video to this video. Please watch it out so that I will not have a lot of time to waste here. I've drafted and sewn my sleeve, and I'll fix it on it. Thank you for watching up to this point. See you in other of my videos. Bye.